Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to today's session where learning math is fun. I am Faithlyn Williams, your teacher for today. In today's session, we will compare, estimate, and measure the length of various objects using non-standard units. We will also distinguish between non-standard and standard units of length. To begin, we will look at some keywords that we will use in today's session. The first word is compare. To compare, we figure out how some things are the same. The second word is estimate. When we estimate, we make a guess. And the third word is measure. We measure to find out the size, length, or amount of something. The fourth word is length. Length is the measurement of something end to end. Now, boys and girls, I want you to look at these two belts and tell me what you notice about them. Amazing! Did you say the brown belt is shorter than the black belt? Or maybe you said the black belt is longer than the brown belt. That is excellent, boys and girls. Boys and girls, do you know what you just did when you told me that the brown belt is shorter than the black belt? Or maybe the black belt is longer than the brown belt? Well, you just compared the length of the two belts. Boys and girls, words like longer and shorter are words that we use to compare things. You are doing well so far. The first activity I have for you is about an online class. During a virtual math class, Janice was asked to measure the length of an object in her home. Janice chose to measure her diary using paper clips. This is how she measured the length of her diary. Before she began, she ensured that she had a starting point. You can see her starting point here. Next, she placed the paper clips end to end. And she ensured that she measured to the end of her diary. And then she marked her end point. Next, Janice counted the number of paper clips she used. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Janice used 4 paper clips for the length of her diary. And Janice went ahead and wrote a beautiful sentence about the length of her diary. We can say Janice's diary is 4 paper clips long. The second activity I have for you, boys and girls, is how Jaden measured the length of his hardcover notebook. Jaden used paper clips to measure the length of his hardcover notebook. But before he did so, he made an estimate. Jaden estimated how many paper clips long his hardcover book would be. Boys and girls, do you know what it means to estimate? Wow! If you said to estimate means to make a guess, that is excellent. I wonder if you can estimate how many paper clips long is Jaden's hardcover notebook. Wow! Maybe you said 3, 4, or 5 paper clips long. Boys and girls, let us check to see how good are you at estimating. Now, before Jaden began, he made sure that he had his starting point. Next, he placed the paper clips end to end and measured to the end of the book. And then, yes, he put in his end point. The next thing Jaden did was to count the number of paper clips he used to measure the length of his hardcover notebook. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paper clips. Then Jaden wrote down how long was his notebook. So we can say Jaden's notebook is 5 paper clips long. Boys and girls, you are doing so well already with this lesson on measurement. I am looking forward to an exciting lesson as we go along. What about you? Now, boys and girls, the next activity that we will look at is whose book is longer? Is it Jaden's notebook or is it Janice's diary? I want you to tell me whose book is longer and why you say so. But before I take your guess, let me remind you of how many paper clips long each book is. Let's first look at Janice's diary. Beautiful. Now let's look at Jaden's hardcover notebook. Good. I know you have your answer. You are just beaming with your answer. But let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. Now, I will take your answer. Wow. Did you say Jaden's notebook is longer than Janice's diary? Because it is 1 paper clip more than Janice's diary? Excellent answer, boys and girls. You are indeed correct. Jaden's notebook is longer by 1 paper clip. Give yourself a clap. You deserve a clap for that. The next activity I have for you is for you to try estimating the length of this pencil. I want you to look at these blocks and tell me how many blocks would fit along this pencil end to end. Wow! I will take your estimate in a short while. Remember now, to measure the pencil accurately, you first need to put in your starting point. We will put in the starting point and the end point on this pencil. Next, we will put in the blocks. Right, that's how we measure along the pencil end to end. Boys and girls, I want you to check if your estimate was excellent. Let's go, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This pencil is 17 blocks long. Now, boys and girls, the unit that was used to measure this pencil is blocks. It is important when we write the measurement of something that we measure that we include the unit. And so, for this pencil, which is 17 blocks long, we know that the unit is blocks. Here is your next activity. We will be using paper clips to see how tall this plant is. But before we start measuring, boys and girls, I want you to estimate how many paper clips tall this plant is. Are you ready with your guess? Wow! We will check to see how good you are at estimating. We'll take your answer in a short while. So remember now, to measure accurately, we'll put in our start point and we have also put in our end point. Let's measure in a straight line. Excellent. How many paper clips tall is this plant? Right, boys and girls. The plant is 5 paper clips tall. We will write a sentence to show this. There we go. The plant is 5 paper clips tall. Very good. How about this other plant, boys and girls? Can you estimate how many paper clips tall it is? Well, boys and girls, I want to see how good you are at estimating. Let's see. Remember, first we put in our starting point, and there we also have our end point. We will now place the paper clips end to end in a straight line. Let's go. 1, 2, 3 paper clips. We will write a sentence about the length of this plant. Wow, there you go. Boys and girls, read the sentence with me. The plant is 3 paper clips long. Now, if your estimate was 3 paper clips, give yourself a clap. Excellent. Let's move on to our next activity. Boys and girls, for your next activity, I want you to compare plant A with plant B. I want you to look at this sentence and choose the correct word from the brackets to make the sentence true. Wow! Let me hear your sentence. Beautiful boys and girls, if your sentence says plant A is shorter than plant B, that is correct. You are also good at comparing. Boys and girls, I just want to big you up for the work that you have been doing so far. Boys and girls, I want you to listen to this scenario about Miss Jarrett's grade 2 class. Miss Jarrett asked her grade 2 class to measure the length of the hairbrush seen here. She also asked them to send her pictures of their work using WhatsApp or email. Let us look at what the children did. Here are the pictures of 3 students' work. Boys and girls, I want you to look at each picture and tell me what you think about the measurement. Are you ready to share? Let's look at hairbrush A. What do you think about it? Wow, let's see. Look at that. This paper clip is certainly not in line with the starting point. So there we have it, and look there again. There are spaces between these paper clips as shown here. So student A did not measure correctly. Boys and girls, if you stated those points, you are correct. Now let us look at hairbrush B. Did student B measure hairbrush B correctly? I agree with you, boys and girls. Student B did not measure correctly. And why do you say so? Great! Boys and girls, if you said student B did not measure the paper clips in a straight line, that is correct. There we have it. The paper clips were not placed in a straight line. And there is one more thing. I wonder if you could tell me what that is. Wow! Yes, boys and girls, if you said that there is an overlapping of 2 paper clips, that is correct. So student B did not measure correctly. Let's look at student C. Did student C measure correctly? Oh my, that was quick. Yes, indeed. Student C started at the starting point as shown here, and they measured in a straight line end to end. And of course, here is the end point. Now, look at what student C wrote for the length of the hairbrush. Can you tell me how many paper clips long is the hairbrush? Great job, boys and girls. The hairbrush is 4.5 paper clips long. And we say 4.5 because here we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 paper clips. But for this paper clip here, we notice that it is right here along the end point, which is just about half of the paper clip. So we say the hairbrush is about 4.5 paper clips long. Now, boys and girls, which student measured the hairbrush correctly? And I know you're beaming with your answer. Yes, indeed. If you said student C, then you are correct. So boys and girls, look carefully at how student C measured the hairbrush. This is the correct way to do your measurement. This next scenario is called the birthday saga. It is Daniel's birthday, and Mark bought Daniel a watch for his birthday. But as soon as Daniel fit on the watch, he realized that it was short. Mark was disappointed. Mark argued that there is no way that the watch could be short since he used the exact measurement that Daniel told him. Daniel told Mark that his watch measured 1 handspan on either side of the face. Mark said, "That's exactly what I got when I bought this watch." Let's look at how Mark measured the watch. There you go. The first side and the second side. 1 handspan and 1 handspan on both sides. Daniel did not get upset. Daniel said, "Okay, let me measure the watch and show you why it is short." Boys and girls, before we look at how Daniel measured the watch, can you tell me what you think went wrong? Why the boys probably get something different? Okay, let us see. Now let's look at Daniel's handspan as he measured the watch. Wow. Boys and girls, look at that. Look at where Daniel's handspan reached all the way here, way past the end of the watch band. Boys and girls, what do you think the reason for this is? Great going, boys and girls. If you said the boys have different size handspan, that is correct. If you also said Mark's handspan is shorter than Daniel's handspan, that is also correct. Now, boys and girls, although both boys use the same unit to measure, they got different measurement. Wow. I wonder what is the reason for this? Excellent. Their handspans are different. Yes, I agree with you. The handspans are of different size. Now, boys and girls, because the measurement is not the same, even though they use the same units, we call these units non-standard units. Non-standard units of measure can be anything you use to measure the length of an object. These can be blocks, paper clips, handspans, string, and straw. Now, boys and girls, back to the birthday scenario. I wonder if you could tell Mark and Daniel what is it that they could use to make sure that they get the correct measurement for the watch. Excellent, boys and girls. If you said they could use a ruler or a tape measure, that is correct. Boys and girls, let us talk about the ruler some more. This ruler has two scales, inches and centimeters. These are standard units of measure. You heard me mention the word scale. But what is a scale? A scale is a set of numbers. The numbers from 1 to 30 on this centimeter scale has a value of 1 centimeter in length. This means that they are the same distance apart, or we could say they are the same length apart. Now, the distance from 0 to 1 is 1 centimeter. And the distance from 0 to 2 on this ruler is, let's count, 1, 2. The distance between 0 and 2 is 2 centimeters. Boys and girls, we will be using the centimeter scale to measure the length of the watch for Mark. Centimeter is a metric unit of length used to measure small objects. To measure with the ruler, you line up the 0 mark on the ruler with the starting point on the watch. Let's put in our starting point. Great. Now, we will count each move as 1 unit as we move along the ruler. I want you to count with me. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Amazing. And there we have our end point. The watch is 25 centimeters. Boys and girls, it is important that you put in the unit that you use to measure at the end of your measurement. Now, boys and girls, I wonder what would happen if Daniel used his ruler to measure the watch. What do you think would happen? Okay, let us see. Daniel measured the watch with his ruler. Here goes. Wow. Daniel also lined up the 0 mark on the ruler with the starting point of the watch. And then he counted the units right to the end. I want you to count the units with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 centimeters. And there we have it. Our end point is also put in 25 centimeters. Boys and girls, what do you really observe? Excellent. If you said both boys got the same measurement, that is correct. And because both boys got the same measurement, we say that the ruler is an instrument that is used for standard unit of measure. The unit used here is centimeter. And so centimeter is a standard unit of measure. Boys and girls, I want you to practice measuring the length of objects using standard units. We will be using the ruler to measure the length of this Elmer's glue bottle. But before we start our measurement, I want you to estimate how tall you think this Elmer's glue bottle is. Are you ready with your estimate? Okay, boys and girls, we will see in a short while how good your guess is. Now remember, to measure with the ruler, we must line up the zero mark of the ruler with the starting point of the object being measured. So let's put in our starting point. There we go. And there we have it. The zero mark is lined up, and right at the top we are having here, what do you see here? Yes, right at the top we are seeing 15 centimeters. Exactly, 15 centimeters. There we go. Now, boys and girls, we say that the Elmer's glue bottle is 15 centimeters tall. Excellent. The second object that we will measure is this pencil. But before we measure the length of this pencil, I want you to compare the length of the pencil to the length of the Elmer's glue bottle. Remember now, the Elmer's glue bottle is 15 centimeters long. How would you compare them? Great going, boys and girls. If you said the Elmer's glue bottle is shorter than the pencil, that is correct. Or maybe you said the pencil is longer than the glue bottle. That's also correct. Next, we will measure the length of the pencil. But before we measure the length, I want you to estimate how long you think this pencil is. Wow, I can hear the different guesses going on. Boys and girls, we will look at those in a short while because by now you should be getting better at your estimating. Let's go. Remember, to measure our pencil correctly, you must line up the starting point of the pencil with the zero mark on the ruler. Look at that. And there we go, we have our end mark also. Boys and girls, to find the length of the pencil, you read the number at the end mark. Can you tell me what number you see at the end mark of the pencil? Great going, boys and girls. The pencil is 19 centimeters long. I wonder how close your estimate was. Boys and girls, you surely is getting good at this. Let's move on to our next activity. Boys and girls, here goes our task. Some grade 2 students were asked to measure the length of the following objects: a banana, their dad's shoe, a box of juice, and a tube of toothpaste. Nale measured her banana and got 25 centimeters. Now I want you to tell me if 25 centimeters is a non-standard unit or a standard unit. Wow, boys and girls, did you say standard unit? Wow, there you go. Excellent. Centimeters is a standard unit of measure. Next, Nale measured the length of her dad's shoe. Nale measured her dad's shoe with fudge sticks. The length of her dad's shoe is 2.5 fudge sticks long. Now, tell me, is fudge sticks a non-standard unit or a standard unit? Great going, boys and girls. Did you say fudge sticks are non-standard units? That is excellent, and you deserve a clap for that. Give yourself a clap. Next, Nale measured the length of the box of juice. Let's look at what Nale did. Amazing! We see that she measured accurately because she put in her starting point and she measured to the very top of the juice, which we also call the end, and she put in her end point. The box of juice is 11 blocks tall. Boys and girls, can you tell me what is the unit that Nale used to measure the length of the box of juice? And is it a non-standard unit or a standard unit? Excellent, boys and girls. If you say the unit is blocks, you are correct. And if you also said that blocks are non-standard unit of measure, you are correct. You are doing excellently. Now we will look at the final object that Nale measured. Do you remember what that object is? Let's see. You got that right, boys and girls. If you said the final object is the tube of toothpaste, I agree with you. Now, Nale measured the length of the tube of toothpaste using a ruler. I want you to look closely at what she did. There you go. Nale put in her starting point. Let's see if she did that correctly. Yes, what do we know about our starting point? Excellent. It should line up with the 0 mark on the ruler. And Nale did that beautifully. Now look at the end mark and tell me, how long is the tube of toothpaste? Great going, boys and girls. Did you say the tube of toothpaste is 30 centimeters? Excellent. Yes, you are correct. The tube of toothpaste is 30 centimeters long. Now, is that a non-standard unit or a standard unit? Wow! Excellent answer, boys and girls. If you said standard unit, you are correct. Centimeter is a standard unit of measure. Boys and girls, we have come to the end of our task. You have done so well, you deserve a medal. Indeed, you are a star. Now, boys and girls, you have done so well in today's lesson. Like Nale, I want you to find 4 objects in your home and measure the length of these objects. You may use non-standard units or standard units. Now, non-standard units can be any object you choose to use, while standard units could be centimeters. And of course, that's what we use in today's lesson. There are some other points that I want to remind you of from our lesson today. Points to remember. To measure accurately, always start from a starting point. Measure to the end. Count the total number of units used. And remember to say or write the unit you are measuring in. For example, blocks or centimeter. Thank you so much for joining me in our session today. Walk good until next time.